Hello.
Hi.
What's going on?
Welcome to a pilot podcast. Where's the energy, guys?
I think it's here.
You think it's here?
I think we're all possessing the energy right now.
Yeah, for sure.
We're just doing weird shit with it, like trying to sit as still as possible for some reason.
How are you doing over there?
I'm not. I'm pacing back and forth.
Oh.
Why?
Well, that's one way.
Why are you pacing
I'm
back
a
and forth?
person who likes to pace when you're on the phone. I don't know why. I just like to be moving.
Oh, and Cody's not here with us, obviously, because we're trying to stay safe.
Yes.
Woo. End of discussion.
So if it's your first time tuning in, we are a pilot podcast. I'm Frani.
I'm CL/Cody
/ Cecil.
I like Cecil.
/Cecil.
And I am Logan still.
Still, that's
Still
good
me.
to know. Thanks for the update.
It's still me.
We review
God himself.
TV show pilots. Sometimes we have spoiler sections, sometimes we don't. It depends on if we know the show or not. We always timestamp that though. Yes.
Not Heather. Sorry, Bridget. Forgot to turn off her microphone. I just wanted to point that out.
Okay,
So
great.
there's going to be a little bit of feedback in the beginning. Sorry, guys. I just saw it like spiking on the thing. Like for some reason, it was picking up Franny's voice better than the own microphone in front of her face.
That's funny. But yeah, so sometimes we have spoilers, sometimes we don't. Pretty much we're here to help you decide if a show is worth watching or not. What are we talking about today?
Today, we're going to talk about the Disney Plus like monumentally large hit WandaVision, as well as HBO's kind of slept on Doom Patrol.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely slept on. What do you guys
I
want to
agree.
talk about first? I feel like Doom Patrol first because I feel like we have a lot to say about WandaVision.
I have a lot to say about Doom Patrol.
You have a lot to say about Doom Patrol?
Could be either
Doom
way.
Patrol. Let's just do Doom Patrol first.
I want to hear.
Yeah?
Yeah, I want to hear Logan's monologue first. I vote Doom Patrol.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So Doom Patrol.
Let me get up the...
Which right now is being, it's kind of weird. Right now, Doom Patrol is being written by Gerard Way, lead singer of My Chemical Romance, and also the creator of Umbrella Academy. So if you're sensing a similarity in tones, I think that's, sort of his earmark. But the great part about Doom Patrol is it's kind of like watching Dr. Deuce Celebrity Rehab, but for superheroes.
Very true.
Which is great. It's really not as much about superheroes and superpowers as much as about like the human condition.
Yeah.
And, like about regret and trauma and PTSD and things of that nature.
Cody, do you want to read us the wiki?
Yeah, I can.
Cool.
It is. I have it on deck. Doom Patrol is an American superhero television series developed by Jeremy Carver. Based on the DC Comics superhero team of the same name, the series features Jane, Diane Guillermo, Rita Farr, April Bowlby, Vic Stone, Jovian Wade, Larry Traynor as Matt Bomer, Cliff Steele, Brendan Fraser, and the Chief, Timothy Dalton, as members of the as members of the Doom Patrol.
I like Larry Traynor as Matt
let's
Bomer,
see.
not Matt Bomer as Larry Traynor.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading it.
So Matt Bomer is the actor. He's like probably, I think is probably the most famous actor there. I mean, unless you count Brendan Fraser based on past stuff. But he plays Negative Man.
Yeah, I didn't even know those names. I was just looking when like you Google it and you look at the cast. It says like their, I guess, hero names like Elastigirl, Crazy
Yep,
Jane. Like,
Negative Man.
they don't really use those or haven't really. They definitely don't in the pilot.
No, definitely
No
not in the
Wikipedia.
pilot.
No.
And we have our boy Alan Tudyk on there, who is like obviously it's like a Comic-Con kind of favorite. He's like everybody's favorite nerd. So to see him in a villain role was pretty cool. But yeah, is there anything else in the wiki? Sorry I interrupted you. I just thought it was funny. I was like, Larry Trainor's playing Matt Bomer. Who's Matt Bomer playing?
I mean, there's nothing really else that's groundbreaking, I'd say.
Okay, so let's talk about kind of the structure of Doom Patrol. I like to think of Doom Patrol as a more effective way of what Deadpool was trying to accomplish. I think Deadpool, like, especially now after it's aged a little bit, it's kind of cringy, where I feel like the self-aware humor in this is really, really smart.
Yeah.
And you really start to feel for, I think the character's Robot Man, right? Isn't that what he's called?
Yeah, it is Robot Man.
I'm pretty sure.
Let me pull it up. I have it, or I had it right there.
I'm not super fresh on the show. It's been a little bit since I've watched it, but you just kind of come to, especially in the pilot, even though you know that he's kind of an asshole, you like start to really care for him.
I don't know if my I think my Google changed like languages on me or something, because for some reason when I search when I search Doom Patrol, it just shows me it, but it shows me it as Patrulla
Condemnos.
Yeah.
Okay,
available on HBO Max.
But that was literally what happened to me as I was looking up the Wikipedia. It was all in Spanish.
That's weird.
I don't know what happened.
It did it for me too.
Guys, are we finding like a glitch in the Matrix right now?
Maybe.
Whoa.
But yeah, it's Robot
I have
Man.
noticed. I do think I potentially have been hacked by someone who speaks Spanish, because every time I open a YouTube video, most of the ads are in Spanish.
What?
It's just a hypothesis.
There's children crazily running outside.
Yeah, because it's raining.
Oh, okay.
And
it looked nuts. We're talking about glitches in the Matrix, and then I see a bunch of children in single file line running as fast as they can.
And we live in COVID times. Kids kind of have to make their own fun right now.
They're singing in the rain.
Yeah. But okay, so let's go over what happened.
Yes, Robot Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that character is really effectively set up, and it's kind of odd because they want us to see the emotionlessness he gets over that long period of time, because in the pilot, obviously, like, there's a huge time jump multiple times. But yet, like, you still totally buy the character, like he's stuck in time, like he's that driver from the 80s or the 70s or whatever it was. And you do feel for him, even though he was kind of a fuck up, which I thought was pretty cool about the show, because I think everybody on the show in their own regards is a deplorable person. And as the show goes on, you'll see that more, but I think that makes them kind of relatable, because we all have something that we did or something that we said that we regret. There's some sort of trauma in everybody, and I think that that's the most relatable part of the whole show.
Definitely.
I do want to ask, if it's explored later. I don't remember Matt Bomer's character really being bad.
We'll talk about it in spoilers.
Terrible happened to him.
Well, okay. Yeah, there's some bad. We'll go over it in spoilers.
Okay.
Okay.
One thing this pilot does is it accomplishes a lot. It is almost an hour long pilot, but like the pacing is great. It gets through everything it needs to get through pretty fast and not too boring.
I mean, this show is so subversive in the way it has its stories told.
Yeah.
And the characters are so rich that there does come a point where, quite legitimately, we're not going to get into spoilers just yet, but in the show, me and Franny really actually cried at one episode.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I know you know which one I'm thinking about. Yeah. But it's really well written. I really think this is one of the best comic book shows I've seen. Like, it feels just like the comic. Like, it feels so real to, like, the tone of the comic. You know, it does kind of come off like a breaking the fourth wall Comic-Con version of a superhero show. Like, it's very self-referential and very goofy and over the top. But it somehow keeps its heart really in place and tells a really fucking good drama out of insane shit. I mean, there comes characters, you know, like, I wouldn't call them necessarily villains, but there come other opposing characters later on, and you're just like, I can't believe this character is real and exists.
Definitely.
So I think we're going to get into spoiler talk a little bit, but let's kind of give our review individually, and also I want to hear Cody's thoughts on the show itself, because I haven't heard you say too much about it.
So I actually really enjoyed it.
That's good.
Something to know about me is I feel like a lot of DC is done poorly.
Absolutely.
I don't know why.
I think that's true.
I just feel I don't even know why. It's like we live in a world where it's pretty equal opportunity. If you make a good movie, it's a good movie. And DC just fails time after time after time. I think the only thing in really recent memory that I liked was Shazam, and it wasn't even like I really loved Shazam. It was like that was a good movie. I don't feel bad for having like spent money on a ticket, but
yeah,
I really liked this.
Yeah, like just to talk about Shazam for half a second, it felt like Sam Raimi's like bad Spider-Man movie, where you're like, this is still okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'd argue this show is one of the most underrated, best things comic book related that's come out recently.
Yeah.
And
it gets better.
I think because I'm basing it on the pilot, I don't know if I have it that high up in my head. But again, you guys did say that there's a lot more that's a little bit more gut punching.
Yeah, definitely. This show is insane.
And it just is one of those shows where like it really does get better every episode. It feels like they get more into the groove of it. Like I never had an episode where we watched and I was like, that wasn't as good as the last episode. It's always like, oh my God, now they're doing this.
Yeah, there's like not filler. There's definitely not filler.
No, and when you start to think something's filler and then they re-arc you back into the main story and you're like, fuck. And the shit that you feel like isn't filler sometimes ends up kind of being like a throwaway thing and you thought it was gonna be huge and you're like, wow, how the fuck did they do that? Yeah. So is there anything you want to talk about before we get into spoilers?
No, I did just want to say that like I really enjoyed the characters, done really well. I do agree that it feels very similar to Umbrella Academy in the way that it's like kind of depressing, it's dreary, it's hopeless in like feel, and I did really like it. I think that it does a lot of things really well that, I mean, let's face it, DC doesn't usually do well.
No.
And it even does a lot of things that like I wish Marvel would do. I feel like Marvel usually takes itself way too seriously, and I liked that this was a little bit more goofy, and yet it was still very serious. It was still very grounded. I liked it a lot.
I'm trying to think of like a good way to word what happens in this.
In the first episode?
Yeah, I'm like, well, we didn't really do like a plot synopsis.
I think it's hard to say. It really is.
It kind of just sets up characters in the first episode.
Yeah,
and like some hijinks.
Origin story pilot.
Some hijinks ensue, but it's nothing insane yet. A little bit, right? Does the dunk? Oh, I don't.
Yeah, be careful. You don't
know
if that's relevant.
The whole episode is basically just setting up Alan Tudyk. That's basically it.
Who's Alan Tudyk?
He's the one guy, the dude who's like all.
Oh, Mr. Nobody.
Mr. Nobody, yes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, it sets up the main characters. This man who becomes Robot Man, he was kind of a deplorable human. He was a race car driver. He gets in an accident. He believes he killed his wife and kid, and only his brain survived. And this kind of mad scientist guy who kind of has like a wayward house for misfit mutants,
like the X-Men almost.
Yeah, like definitely an X-Men vibe.
But instead of it being a school, it's a rehab.
Yeah, and the main scientist guy is also in a wheelchair. It does feel very X-Men-y at first.
I mean, that's kind of their goal. They're trying to really make fun of that, and
for sure, and they do. But yeah. So only his brain survives. He becomes a Robot Man, and in this house, there's other characters, and they kind of go through the origin of some of them. They don't go through everybody that you'll meet yet, obviously, but I feel like they do a really good job setting up Cliff, Robot Man, and Rita, which is, I guess, Elastigirl.
Yeah. But I mean in reality she's more Blob Lady, but yeah, she's Elastigirl. Did you love her character, Cody?
She was okay.
I guess
she wasn't my favorite.
I think in the first episode you don't really get a lot about her. You just kind of get her more cunty vibes. Whereas, like, as the
that's kinda
show
where I
goes
was at.
on, she might be my favorite character.
Definitely.
Might be my favorite.
I know
character.
Jane
It's
is a
pretty tough.
fan favorite too.
Crazy Jane, yeah.
Yeah.
Is she introduced in the pilot?
She is. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Crazy Jane's in the
She's
pilot.
played by one of the girls who's on Orange is the New Black.
Oh.
And I remember being so pissed that her character was kind of written off. And now I see why.
Yeah.
I'll forgive it.
She's a phenomenal actress in this.
Yeah, it takes a lot.
She's great.
To play 30 whatever like different personalities, she does a really good job. For sure.
Was that revealed in the pilot?
I mean,
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, I think it's 60%. I was rewatching it today a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, she does a great job. All the performances all around are pretty great in this show, I'd say.
I'd say that the two women really shine the most, honestly. I think they're the strongest when it comes to their actual acting abilities.
And then there's like one other main character who literally just isn't introduced in this pilot, which is weird.
Yeah.
But he is a definitive main character. But let's talk about, like, let's kind of wrap it up and then we'll get into the spoilers. So who do you guys think you are in this show?
I know who I am in this show. And wait, I think I'm just as stressed as Rita, but just as crazy as Jane.
I was going to say, I feel like you're Rita, because you're super,
I definitely am Rita.
I definitely get more Rita vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
I always have Rita's stressed out energy. What about you guys?
I don't know who I am. That's a good question.
Honestly, I would say Loki's probably... Oh.
It's tough.
I'm between Robo-Man and Matt Bomer.
I could see parts of myself as Negative Man, but I also see some of myself as Robot Man,
Yeah,
so it's kind of hard.
You're like a nice hybrid.
I think my public persona is Robot Man, but my true self is Negative Man. But not too true.
I could see that.
There's definitely a definitive difference.
What about you, Cody?
Oh, I have no idea. I really have no clue.
Yeah, I don't know
The
if
kid
you're
who
really
dies.
represented here.
I don't know. I feel like you're also a Rita type.
Yeah, you're definitely a Rita type.
Like very upper crust, classic woman. Kidding.
Well, at least we know my brand.
Old Rita can't come to the phone right now.
I like
because she's blown up into a big blob.
Because she's slime.
I love when Mr. Nobody as the narrator is like, then Rita's gonna consume one of what will be 3 whole chickens at the end of the day. I really like the narration. I think it's fucking funny.
It's cool that the narrator is literally the villain of the anime.
Villain. Yeah.
You know? I think that's really dope.
They set up a really cool villain in this. I don't know who Alan Tudyk is.
That's Mr.
What
Nobody.
is his reference? Is that his like?
That's his real ass name.
Okay, I thought.
And he's just in like a lot of nerdy things.
Yeah, he's in Firefly and Star Wars.
Personality.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah, he's great. I love him.
Yeah, he's definitely like. They needed somebody heavily charismatic for this role, and I think he totally took over. Also, Brendan Fraser as Robot Man was legit.
I'd also say he's really good. Honestly, I feel like Alan's not someone you'd automatically go to for a villain, but I'm really happy they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he totally kills it, and it just gets better and better.
That's so weird. Like, okay, so I'm looking at Brendan Fraser's like Google search, and everything else is in English. But under TV shows, it has Patrula Condenada as fucking Doom Patrol. Is that like a meme? Did they change their name to be Spanish on everybody's
Maybe
phone?
Wikipedia's being hacked.
Maybe. But yeah, like it's coming up like in his list of TV shows as that. That's so weird. I don't know. I need answers that I'm not going to get.
That's crazy. Okay, so let's go ahead and rate it based on the pilot and then spoil it.
Okay, I'd say based on the pilot, it is definitely like a 9 out of 10 for me.
I would say a solid 8 out of 10.
Yes.
Cody?
Sorry, the storm cut me out a little bit.
Oh,
Okay. I just heard
he was like
started
really,
storming.
really
Just
trying to
pondering,
decide.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like, do I give it a 6?
I
Do
said
give it a
all this nice stuff,
6.5?
but it might be a 4.
I'd say it probably sits at 7.5 for me.
Okay.
It's something that I do see myself actually going back and watching.
Dude,
and
you should. You really should.
continuing it.
We won't.
Yeah,
we
but
won't be
it's
too
also-
spoilery.
You can spoil it. I don't care. It's because I'll watch stuff no matter the spoilers. It's more that it's. I don't know what it is about it. It just doesn't feel like home for me.
It's really.
It's not like a comfort show.
It's
something I'd have to like.
It's offensively gritty. I think that people need to understand that this show's goal is to make you feel bad about, like, not to make you feel bad, but to make you think about the bad parts of, like, mental illness and all that stuff. Like, this show is designed to make you not only empathize with people, but also to almost feel it in yourself by making it so wacky and crazy that it feels like you're coping with something. There are moments of this show that are so offensively subversive that, like, you'll find yourself trying to follow along with it, and in a good way you'll be frustrated with it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
It's very intentional.
It's a thinky show.
It's very intentional. But anyway,
And we know I don't like doing the thinky.
so into the
But
spoilers.
it's a good time too. It's got a nice balance.
Spoilers starting now. Franny hates Cyborg in this show,
Oh my god, he is such
but
a
I
little
love
pussy
Cyborg
bitch.
in this show.
So there's a main character that you don't meet in the first episode. His name is Cyborg. He's played by Jovan Wade. I guess that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, no, he does not need to be there. It is not a good character. He's the worst actor by fucking far.
I love everything he does in the show. He's very
feels like-
necessary.
It feels like he's acting in a different show.
Now,
It
is he
feels like-
based on Cyborg, or
yes,
is he just
yes,
like,
he's that
It
Cyborg.
feels like
Okay.
it feels like he's supposed to be in like a live action Teen Titans instead of this. Like the way he's acting.
Which there is a
the
live
way the
action Teen
character-
Titans
I
in the
know.
same universe, but we haven't watched that
the
show.
way the
so.
character functions, the character's motivations, it just doesn't feel it has no place. in the
But
show.
there is a there's a descent with Cyborg's character that, because everybody remembers him from like Teen Titans, booyah and all that shit, people have these really innocent thoughts about Cyborg, and that's why his descent in the show, like what happens with him, is so dark. Because
it does
you
take
watch
a dark
it,
turn with him.
you watch it as you're thinking, it's so crazy that the Cyborg, pretty much that I know from Teen Titans because he's acting the same, is involved with these characters that like are all horrible in their own right, and then you realize, okay, he's not perfect either, and it's really a powerful moment when he fucks up. Like his fuck up in the show, I think, is the craziest, if not one of the craziest moments in the entire show.
You know, one thing
now is
yeah. Continue.
go ahead.
Sorry. No, I totally was like going off topic. What were you saying?
I was gonna ask so he was saying that it was connected to the Teen Titans show that was live action.
Yeah.
Is it the same actor? Is it the same actual Cyborg, or is it kind of like retcons?
I think it's the same Cyborg. I think Stargirl, I think it's called Supergirl, maybe Stargirl. No, I think it's like Stargirl or something.
Starfire?
No, not Starfire. This is like a different thing. It's like Supergirl or Stargirl or some shit. Teen Titans
Okay.
and Doom Patrol are all the same universe. And it was going to be with Swamp Thing, but Swamp Thing was canceled.
Is the actor the same from the Teen Titans?
But
thing?
but Cyborg isn't a main character in the Teen Titans live action show.
Oh, okay.
But they all do have a crossover. I know that's all I know is that all three shows had a crossover. That's all I'm aware of.
Interesting.
And it's crazy because did we watch one episode of Teen Titans? It's gritty, but it's not this. This is definitely this is different.
Yeah.
Doom Patrol is like a whole different take on the superhero genre, way more like satirical and kind of like almost angry at its tropes. Like,
Yeah. They definitely never they're not always going to win, you know? And
yeah,
they're not even
they don't
necessarily
give you wins, that's for sure.
They're definitely not always the good guys, too.
Definitely not.
Which I kind of like that expectations are not to be had with this show.
But there's this great scene where they have to interact with a guy who was somewhat responsible for Mr. Nobody, but he's also like an anti-Semite. And they beat up some like Dutch children and shit. And it's so crazy. Such a fucking nuts show. It's nuts, dude. It's bananas.
Yeah.
It's bananas.
I'd say to put one label on the show, it would be bananas.
What it feels like is one of my D&D campaigns. Because it's so fucking wild. And it feels like things take a turn out of nowhere. Like because of their powers, sometimes a story will be happening, but because Crazy Jane feels like being the part of her that can teleport people places, they're instantly in a new situation with a new storyline and new things happening, and it's because one character decided something random. Or Cliff goes off and does like a random thing that he feels is very important. Or like at one point there's something happens and somebody's essentially, for lack of a better term, having a bad day. And because that one person's having a bad day, it affects everybody. Like, it's really like it's the show version of having a character kind of take the reins of a story, but like every week. But it's not a week by week show. It has an overarching story, but things happen simply based on the hubris and the arrogance of individual characters.
They definitely treat these characters like they're real too.
And these
like,
characters,
you always understand their motivations.
Their decisions aren't like, oh, they're gonna have like a side quest about finding themselves for no. When they decide to do something that's out of the lined path of the narration, the narrator points out to you the fact that they just fucked up the whole story.
Yeah,
Mr. Nobody's like
I really like that.
Mr. Nobody's like a bad dungeon master. He really is, though. Like, absolutely is. I think you'll really enjoy it, Cody.
I might need to watch this show.
I think you'll really enjoy it, dude. And
it's
it has
just bonkers. It goes
like,
in so many different directions.
There's like so many plots where you're like, what the fuck? Like, why is this happening? And then it concludes and you think it's gonna be like neatly wrapped up, but no, it bleeds into the rest of the story and fucks up other people's shit. And then there's going to be a character, and we won't give too much away, but there's a character named Danny, and you're really going to love that character. Danny.
Is it Danny? Yeah,
I think it's Danny. Double check me. I don't want to say the wrong name and fuck it up. He won't figure out what it is unless he Googles it, so.
Yeah, it's Danny.
Danny. You're going to really like Danny.
Oh my God. If Cody's anybody, Cody's Danny.
Cody, you're Danny! That's so true.
What's that?
You're going to... To all the Doom Patrol fans out there that just heard us talk about Danny, they know and we know, but you don't get to know yet. You got to watch. Danny is the fucking best. Danny is definitely a.
And who's the one character
favorite
with the poses? Flex something? Flex
Armstrong? Isn't it just something like super?
Yeah, figure out who that. This character has such a fucking bananas, wild ass introduction to this story. I've never seen a character introduced quite like that character. We're like
Flex Mentello.
Flex Mentello is the most insane character. I swear to fucking God. The way his power, I don't want to say what his powers are, but the way his powers work is so weird. And oh God, the thing he does when they're on Danny or the space in between. This show, the plot only makes sense in a comic book, but they just do it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, they deal with things like, what about the space in between the panels of the comic book? Because in the comic book, the real one, Mr. Nobody would actually be hiding in the panels. Mm-hmm. And people would look for him like, where's Waldo? Well, that's a part of, like, the plot is, like, the introduction of, like, what about the space in between this panel? What's that? That's the in-between place, and that's a whole thing. It's fucking nuts.
Okay, now I'm really excited to actually watch this.
I know, and we haven't even finished season 1. We're in the last episode of season 1. We haven't even finished season 1.
Wow.
Are there 2 or 3?
There's 3 seasons, I think, but only 2 of them are in HBO right now.
Don't they get attacked
or
by
maybe there's only 2 seasons. Hold on.
There's only 2 seasons. Don't they get attacked by a lot of asses one time?
The asses. No, that's too spoilery. Don't tell that to Cody.
But I'm just a thought. There's a lot of asses.
There is a lot of asses, but I don't want to get ruined for you, but there's a lot of asses.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we talked this into the ground without getting into too much.
Yeah. The only extra thing I want to say is Yeah, Mr. Negative's a bad guy, just as much. Or
Mr. Nobody.
Negative Man, right?
Negative Man.
Negative Man, in his own right, is a bad guy. I think he's the least bad of them because his situation was determined based on what was acceptable at the time when he was alive.
Right.
But he still did. You know, I mean, I'll just say it. I think you kind of figured this part out. He did cheat on his wife and did abandon his children and never try to find them. Like, that's something he did. So he's not great either. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that one in particular is hard because like you can't really at the time that he was alive, or at least in his normal.
He didn't have to do his kids like that. Though.
He didn't. But I just always think, why didn't you try to go find his kids?
Yeah, I know, and that always felt like something they were going to touch on, and they haven't. I'm interested to see if they do anything with it in season 2.
Yeah,
because timeline wise, would his kids potentially still be alive?
Yeah, yes, because
they would, wouldn't they?
Don't say why.
Yep.
Yeah,
they
but
would
you
definitely
know,
be
but
alive.
you know that they're alive based on that.
Yep. Yeah, that feels like, and like that's another one of those things that feels like it's going to be a plot point, and then just never has been yet.
And then if you think Rita's racism is bad, you just wait. She did something way worse than that.
Yeah,
she did something so much worse than that.
And it like starts haunting the show, and it's great.
Yeah, and Robot Man, you know, Cliff, he's got a lot of problems. To be honest with you, the least problematic one in my opinion is Crazy Jane. And she's fucking crazy.
The personalities are so fun.
Oh, they get so crazy. Dude, her different personalities like are such a big part of the show, and and like the things they get stuck with, and
there's like a good like episode all about Jane, and there's
a couple. Really.
There's a couple, but there
I know which one you're thinking of.
Yeah. There's a lot of good Jane arcs, so you gotta watch it.
I look forward to it.
Good.
Yeah, so I rate the pilot on an 8, but I actually give this show like a legit 10.
Wow.
Because
that's high praise from you.
Because this is the most important thing about a show. No matter how convoluted or ridiculous, a self-aware show has one goal, and that is to never not be entertaining. Like,
yeah,
this show's self-aware. It's gonna do dumb shit. It's gonna do really cool shit. But it's always self-aware about it. But the moment it stops being interesting or it starts being predictable is the issue. There's nothing predictable about the show. And there's always, even in the most fucking dumb fucking plot lines, there is something you're grasping onto that's making you shit your pants.
Yeah, for sure.
Go watch it, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely go watch it. Especially even if you listen to the spoiler part, I feel like we kept it vague enough.
Yeah.
You can still watch it. I know that you're going to cry. I know when you're going to cry. And know that like I'm thinking about you right now, and I'm here for you in that moment where you're crying ridiculously at this specific episode. I was there too. I was fucking there.
All right, let's take a quick pause.
Quick break, and then we're going to do WandaVision.
And we're back. I just started the podcast to end a conversation that I didn't want to have, so
it was very heated.
For like no reason. Like did not need to be heated.
Anyways, we're talking about WandaVision now.
WandaVision. Yay. Cody, have you finished it yet?
Should I read? I have finished it, yeah.
Yeah, so have we. Yeah. So our spoiler talk is going to be in depth.
Cool, so
But let's get through non-spoiler stuff first.
Wikipedia time.
Should I read the Wikipedia?
Wikipedia time.
Wikipedia time. WandaVision is an American television miniseries created by Jack Schaefer for the streaming service Disney Plus, based on the Marvel Comics characters Wanda Maximoff and Vision. Set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it shares continuity with the film franchise and takes place after the events of Avengers Endgame. The end.
Yeah, anything else would be a spoiler. Okay, so obviously,
Literally.
in order to even understand the show, you have to be deeply put into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of movies you could skip, but if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame, or Infinity War, which would be really crazy, but if you haven't seen either of those,
Honestly,
you're not going to
even
understand
Age of
these.
Ultron.
Age of Ultron, I guess, but I feel like the Quicksilver meme was gigantic at the time, but I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't know about it. So,
and I feel like,
but that's like where the character was introduced. You have to.
Yeah,
I don't really
agree.
remember if I've seen that one or not.
It's so good,
but I
not.
feel like I've seen enough Marvel to
it's so bad.
Not have to. Yeah.
I like Age of Ultron because it's the one movie where I feel like we're not put on the specific path of the main story. It feels like a side campaign to me, and that's why I like it.
Agreed.
Like I like when they're all at the party and they're doing the hammer thing. I love that shit. It feels like the only movie where
I remember it. Yeah. I've seen it.
It's the only one that feels like, okay, it is setting up stuff, but at the same time, this is just like a fun side adventure we get to have with these characters, which we never get to do.
I will say that's probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire film franchise.
Yes.
Thor's panic when Cap is like...
Slightly moves it. Yes, that's the best. And just at that time, those characters, they were getting along in a way that they don't get to really again because of everything that happens. And like...
Right.
And that's where she was introduced. And of course, when they first did it, it was Joss Whedon. We've recently learned that Joss Whedon's actually not a filmmaker. He's terrible. And... he made Wanda have this terrible accent, and people hated it for so long, and she like got out of it after that movie. But then in this show, I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but they're kind of explaining the accent change. That's how much this show is trying to rectify. It's trying to fix everything that was wrong with the Quicksilver story in Age of Ultron. It's trying to fix a bunch of stuff, and I think it's really fucking good. I really like this show.
Same.
I love the meme going around of people just realizing that Wanda Elizabeth Olsen is played by an Olsen and that she's related to the other Olsens.
So
apparently that's a thing people are just now noticing.
Which is crazy because she looks exactly like them.
They have the same face.
Yes.
I think it's because I
really love all of the Agnes memes going around with the wink. That's my favorite meme.
Oh, yeah. God. I'm so excited to get into Agnes talk.
They're like, yeah, just one drink. Wink.
Now, technically, if you were watching this at the time it came, like, if you had been listening to this podcast, if it was actually created at the time that only the pilot was out, it actually is technically a 2-episode pilot because 2 episodes released upon the initial release of the show. So,
wow.
I think we can dig a little bit into both of those. I think that's fair.
Yeah, that does seem fair.
And if you're frustrated by that, we're sorry, but it's just that the show is such a complete piece on its own, even though it was put out week to week. A lot of things kind of blend together. So we're trying to give as much critical review of the beginning of the show without spoiling it, and then we'll get into spoilers.
I'm so excited. I want to go back and rewatch it, like, beginning to end.
Knowing what you know now.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate...
Yeah, I could see that.
I appreciate, like, the... I think Paul Bettany, is that his name, right? Bettany?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he always has great comedic chops. People forget about that because of all the Vision stuff. But, I mean, he did, like, A Knight's Tale and a couple of other things, and he's always been good with funny. He really fucking shines in those first 2 episodes, you know, being, like, a sitcom husband and shit. Like, he was great.
Agreed.
Just the hijinks. So... the show sets up, I mean, we don't really know anything in the pilot about what's going on. You just see Wanda and Vision in a house as if it's like a 50s sitcom. And he has like a human form now that he can like kind of turn off and on. And like they still have their powers. He did that in the movies
too, but yeah.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Okay, I didn't know that. And like they still have their powers, and it's basically just like low stakes shenanigans with their powers, like everything's wrapped up at the end. That's pretty much...
Except there's one moment in the first episode.
Yeah.
I mean, amongst a few, but there was a main one.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely watch the show and like just get that besides like the moment, you know?
Yeah. Basically, the show works like a great homage to old television with like a really scary and terrifying like underbelly of a story.
Yeah, there's definitely like a vibe, like
almost a horror vibe in some ways.
Uncanny Valley.
Mm-hmm. Very Twin Peaks-esque. And there's a scene that's kind of like shakes everything in the first episode where the guy's like choking on food, right? Is that what it was? Or like,
yeah.
and Vision, like everything stops, everybody gets serious, like this guy's gonna fucking die, and there's a gross silence around it. And then he like saves him, he pulls the chicken or whatever out of him. And then the episode carries on as per usual. And that was the moment where I was like, oh shit. And Franny wasn't even really watching it super hard when I put it on the first episode.
Yeah.
And that scene happened and she was like, we have to watch more. Like got super obsessed. Like
yeah,
right then
I
and
wasn't
there.
really planning on watching it. Like I didn't know about it. I didn't know the hype leading up.
There really wasn't a lot of good hype
really
leading
wasn't?
up. No.
I feel like there should have been hype leading
Disney
up.
Plus has fucking dropped the ball. They keep putting out content late. They keep holding on to things. I mean, they promised WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, as well as Mandalorian to us on the first year, and we only got one of those things.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a lot of their shows, people have been not excited about. People are like, we're so over Marvel and Disney, like squeezing us for pennies. They're only coming out with the show now because they want to keep their subscribers from when Mandalorian came back. They're only coming out with it now to keep people on. And maybe there's a little bit of truth to that, but that doesn't change the fact that this show's fucking amazing.
It is amazing.
I will say, I think the only thing that really has, like, anticipation around it is the Loki show.
I don't know.
But I do feel like this show has restored the faith of a lot of people.
I don't want to speak for Black Twitter, but Black Twitter's excited about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Fucking Winter
I haven't
Soldier.
seen them promoted as much as the problem.
Winter Soldiers and Gossip Girl.
It comes out the 19th of March, so
I know,
soon.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, also pod update. I'm still watching Gossip Girl. I'm on season 4. And the guy that plays Falcon, or not Falcon, Winter Soldier, he's in it.
Sebastian Stan.
Huh?
Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, he's in it. But yeah,
Ladies go crazy over Sebastian.
I don't think he's that good looking or anything. I'm not into it.
I feel like he's okay. Like, he's not someone that I'd be like, wow, you have a fan base? That's okay.
Yeah, and he literally like is like one of Blake Lively's love interests in Gossip Girl, and I'm like, why? Anyways, that's my little
It's not
Gossip
like he's
Girl
ugly.
update.
He's like classically handsome. Like,
That's
what are
my
we
little
talking
Gossip
about?
Girl update.
It's not surprising.
I mean, we're
He's-
not saying he's not.
but it's just funny. It's like, well, what?
I didn't
Evs?
think.
It's like,
Is he
he's-
classically handsome?
Yeah, like literally.
I don't know.
Dude looks like Superman.
I don't like his face. I don't know.
He's very like 1950s handsome. Like he would come home from World War II.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah, are you still with us, Cody?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You like blipped out for like half a second.
Okay, sorry. It's storming here.
Yeah, it definitely has been storming. Anyway, we should talk about WandaVision, the show, though. All right, so based on the 2 episodes, that was the dinner and then the magic show, right? Those were the first 2 episodes?
Yeah.
What were you guys thought about the magic show, like he had gum inside of him so he was drunk storyline?
I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Now, Franny, do you think, not to be spoiler, but do you think that's a ripoff of Doom Patrol?
Oh shit! There was a Doom Patrol moment like that.
There is. There definitely is.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
I doubt it is, but still, I like the fact that he's like drunk because he has like gum inside of him.
Yeah, I feel like that just feels very like they're trying to do like the low stakes shenanigans thing.
Yeah,
some comic relief.
Definitely.
Wanda's wardrobe, Wanda's look.
Oh my god,
Logan was very obsessed.
I was obsessed with the 50s Wanda.
Yeah.
Me
too.
There's something about like that conservative ass like boopity boop haircut. I can't speak.
I know, you're like, Wanda can get it.
I was like, Wanda could catch this. She's super powerful. She's able to catch this.
I've always said this though, and low-key, Wanda's probably my favorite Avenger.
She's pretty badass,
and she was before this. So imagine the hype I felt when they were like, "Yeah, we're doing a show on Wanda and Vision." I creamed. I was so excited. Then we found out it was going to be set in like 1950s TV sitcom land, and
yeah, right? I'm sure like people.
Right.
I think a lot of people fell in love with the WandaVision character arc in Civil War. And then there was like a small pocket of MCU fans, like really niche, who were like WandaVision stans. And this show is for them.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's so good. I could not believe it. Oh, I love all the memes going around that are like, would you believe me if I told you this is the most powerful Avenger? And it's just like snapshots of Wanda in like the sitcom-esque
So ridiculous, dude.
wardrobe and all the like funny faces. She did really good as a sitcom actress.
Yeah, no, like she was the part that I was worried about because I knew Paul Bettany could do comedy. I knew that he was going to knock that shit out.
She was believable.
I think that was the best version of themselves they had in the MCU. I think those were the best performances carried on by both of them.
Yeah.
Because like,
agreed.
aside from the Age of I do love though at the end of Age of Ultron when Vision's talking to Ultron. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That scene's incredible. That scene is like so underrated. But I feel like we got a lot of Vision moments like that, and I don't want to give away the one I'm thinking of specifically, but the Thesis' ship or whatever is involved, and that was fucking great. That was a great, just like back and forth.
Now, not to toot the whole horn, like there was a little bit of a drawback for me, and it was that I'd say until we got to the dinner with like Deborah Jo Rupp, it felt very like, oh, is this all it is?
Yeah, but I think I think that's on purpose. I think they want you.
And I agree.
To get comfortable.
I definitely agree.
I feel like a lot of people gave up.
See, and that's what I was about to say, is I kind of wish they had released it all at one time, because I know a lot of people who fell off because that was all it was.
But I disagree with you, and this is why. After the first 2 episodes aired, right, there's a lot of people who dropped off. Then episode 3 came out. And because of the week-to-week waiting, it causes people who are watching the show to all talk about the most recent episode for a week. It's like the water cooler talk. Did you watch WandaVision last night? Yeah, I did. Oh my God, this and this happened. This is something that people forgot about with episodic television. WandaVision, I think, towards the last 2 episodes, was the most streamed show on the internet of both of those weeks.
Wow.
And that's because they know that effect. So I think that making it super stark and having people hate it up top is almost really good marketing. Because then they forces the people who don't like it to have conversations with those who do. Like, oh, but dude, you have to wait till you get to episode 3 because of this, this, and this. Oh, really? That's really what happens? Okay, I guess I'll check it out. And that's how you do it. That's why Mandalorian is fucking huge, and that's why this show's huge. Disney has this much right. Their content is good enough to hate fuck people and make them wait, even though they want it all in one juicy go.
Yeah.
Like, Netflix could do it if they did it with Stranger Things, but if they did it with any of their other shows, people would just be like, fuck Netflix. Probably then. Not.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So I disagree with you on that. I think that the first episode being so starkly, almost like unforgivingly, like throwing it away, just like we care more about the setup than keeping you interested. We care more about the final project as a whole than trying to interest you into staying on this episode. I feel like that was better for the show in the long run.
I agree now. Like, I've come around. I agree.
Yeah.
Although it is very stark, I will say.
It was fun having like a show to look forward to like every Friday, you know? And it's normally The Bachelor for me right now, but The Bachelor's just kind of sucking this season. So
she just wanted to talk about The Bachelor. She found a way to do it.
Matt's boring. But so like I don't know,
agreed, The Bachelor is boring.
This season is. The current Bachelor, he is boring. But I feel like it was just nice to have something like that, you know, to anticipate each episode again.
And that's why I think that even though I've seen a little bit of Mandalorian, I haven't seen all of it, so maybe I'm speaking too soon here. I think that Mandalorian's an okay show that has a lot of cool things in it, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. But the reason why it was so gigantic had nothing to do with its quality. Disney just knows how to market their shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like WandaVision is going to kind of become a template now, and people are going to take the wrong things from it. All these other streaming things, they're going to make shows like this where it's like, a sitcom, but not really. Like quote me later. This is going to be the new fad because they think WandaVision worked because of that. When in actuality, it's because we cared so much about the characters, we were willing to kind of suspend our disbelief and deal with some crazy ass antics that we usually wouldn't put up with.
I agree.
People are going to take the wrong message from this show, man. We're going to see so many bad shows trying to be this show.
Can't wait.
And we'll be here to talk about them.
Yep. And I'll be like, remember that? I'll make that a sound bite of me saying that. Just like, I did say this once already.
Should we get into spoiler talk? I feel like it's time.
Well, first we have to talk about who we are in these first 2 episodes.
I don't know if there is anybody. I don't know. Who are you?
I don't know.
I'm Wanda.
I like it. I'm Agnes.
I guess I'm Vision.
Yeah.
I'm Vision, right?
Yeah, you're Vision.
I question myself constantly in my own existence. It's cool.
I like the drunk off bubble gum. I think that's funny. That's not
You're
you,
gonna have to
but
start
that
calling
is
liquor
funny.
bubble gum now.
That bubble gum really sent him straight into Minecraft, dude. All right. So based on the pilot episodes, we're going with 1 and 2. I think Cody's right. I don't think it's actually. I think the pilots are a bad example of what the show is. Not like a bad, like as in like you're gonna hate it, but it's just not indicative of what the whole show becomes. I'm gonna say it's like a 7 out of 10 for me for both episodes.
I'd say the first episode's like a 6, but then the second episode's a lot better, so it averages around a 7 probably, yeah.
I'd say it's an 8 for me.
All right. Now let's talk about the spoilers. Okay.
Instantly 10 out of 10. I love this fucking show.
So good.
So good.
The man, Doctor Strange is gonna be crazy. Doctor Strange is gonna be nuts.
I cannot wait.
Did you know that they announced Tom Cruise as Tony Stark?
What?
Tom Cruise is gonna be the new Iron Man from an opposite dimension.
From a multiverse.
They're saying that's not what it is. Like after it leaked, no, that's not it. But like executives are acting nervous that the secret got out because he was gonna originally play Iron Man back in 2006 or whatever when they were first offering him the part, and he turned it down. So now
glad
he's
he
gonna
did. I didn't need Tom Cruise to be Iron Man.
But now he's gonna be Iron Man.
I'm so glad it was Robert Downey Jr. I couldn't imagine it being anyone else.
I don't think the Marvel Universe happens without Jon Favreau directing that first Iron Man movie and giving it the whole vibe. And he picked Robert Downey Jr. So Jon Favreau, in my opinion, everybody says it's Joss Whedon who's the Mac Daddy of the MCU. Some say the Russo brothers. I think it's Jon Favreau, and I really want him to direct another movie.
What has he done besides?
He did the live action
Lion
King. He did the live action Jungle Book that everybody loved.
I didn't actually see that one.
Oh, everybody loved it. That was before, like, then there was like a kid acting along CG animal, so the kid like gave a lot of the emotion. So that kind of worked.
He directs on The Mandalorian.
He directed The Mandalorian. He helped create The Mandalorian.
I knew that.
He did Swingers, which is like considered like an indie classic comedy. People love Swingers. He did Chef. He really is like kind of a Kevin Smith figurehead type character.
He's a chameleon.
He's very much a personality director where like you like him not just in part of the movies he makes, but also in the personality he gives when talking about those movies and when representing himself. Very similar to Kevin Smith.
Interesting.
But I want him to direct a Marvel
agree.
project. But yeah, no. So yeah, in Doctor Strange, obviously it's gonna have a lot to do with Chthon clearly being a thing in the fucking Marvel universe.
What are you saying?
Chthon is like a demon, right?
Yeah.
All right. He's the one who like controls chaos magic. He controls the chaos dimension.
Oh, okay.
They literally in one of the shots with Agatha holding the book, right? You see in the book like a shape. That shape is Chthon. And then Chthon is released in the comic books near like this mountain in like an old cabin, much like the one you see Wanda in like so like they're going to put a demon in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're going to bring a whole ass demon in.
Wow. That's intense.
I never would have seen a major studio doing that ever. This demon eats children.
I'm excited.
It eats children.
Speaking of children,
Is
they
that
have
why?
Wanda and
Okay,
Vision's
skipping to the
kids.
end. Is that why her kids are screaming in that last little
Maybe.
Yeah, because they
end
exist.
credit scene?
Because she really, whatever she makes with her chaos magic still exists in the chaos dimension. So I think Speed and Wiccan, which is the name of those characters, I think when she goes over to get them in Doctor Strange, I think they're going to be full-grown adults because they age differently in the chaos dimension, and that Chthon's going to overtake Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange, and WandaVision and like come alive and like come into the world. I think that's what's going to happen. And that would be fucking crazy.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, it doesn't feel like she's just going to let those kids go, even though, like, she was told that she did create them. That's crazy that we have a character that can create whole ass, like...
Yeah, she immaculately conceived.
Yeah.
She literally made Jesus
Mary.
babies. Yeah, she's Mary. And Vision's a cuck. To the chaos dimension. Also, White Vision with the ship of Theseus, that whole deal, dude. That's the kind of shit I'm looking for.
I was shocked.
That's
I
the
was
kind of
like,
shit I love.
yes.
And then when he fucking like unwraps his brain and shit. Oh my god, dude.
It was so good. Paul Bettany is just so brilliant.
Yeah, that was really great. And it's also like that's so what Vision was in the comics. Like Vision is always like been that hyper vigilant, like very in his head, like what is the most, you know, he's kind of like the Superman of the MCU, but he's not perfect like Superman, but in the sense that he's like such a Boy Scout. Like, what's the way we can save the most people? Let's think about this rationally. Let's think about, like, always pontificating was like a part of his superpower. And then they found a way to do it really effectively in this show that was way more badass than them just punching each other. Although the fight was fucking awesome.
So good.
He was like going through his
So
wrists
good.
and shit. So good. Franny, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't really have like the comic reference, but I thought that was good. I like how he convinced him to like destroy himself, right?
No, he's
Something
we
along that
don't
line?
we don't know. I think Vision's gonna come back as White Vision.
You think so?
Same.
I think
Me too.
I think what's gonna happen is that piece of the stone that Doctor Strange is fucking with in the Multiverse of Madness, that little piece of stone, I think is going to be like Vision's new soul, and he's gonna become White Vision. I think that's going to be like the final spark that like makes him Vision again. Because the thing with Vision's personality, he really does have one, and he's the forces. That's why he's so godlike in everything he does. That's why he's so righteous. He's like an omnipresent being because he's a part of him is the stone, and that's all of existence. The stones were the most powerful things in the universe, and he's a creation from that thing. So in the other words, he is the stones, you know?
Yeah.
Good.
This was insane. I really liked the fucking you know, the brother, the Quicksilver, like
I fucking
stuff.
I got pissed about the Petro stuff, especially when it turned out it wasn't the X-Men Peter Maximoff, like it was just some guy. That kind of sucked because I was excited about multiverse stuff. But I'm still sure that they're going to introduce the X-Men and Fantastic Four via Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. And I feel like this whole show is just building up to it.
So that's what I was waiting for, like you. When they introduced him at the door, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and
They're
then
doing X-Men.
so they made him Ray Boner.
Gosh darn it.
I know, but I feel like it still might happen in some regard. Just maybe Quicksilver's not going to be played by, Evan Peters, but that's okay. You know,
No, go ahead. Continue. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was very pleasantly I tried to avoid spoilers the best I can, and I was so pleasantly surprised that the villain was like Agatha Harkness.
Yes.
And I don't know why I low-key thought it was going to be, what's his name, Nicholas? Is that her son?
Yes, Nicholas Harkness or whatever, yeah.
I don't know who
I was expecting it to be him.
You know who I thought the villain was going to be? Until I started watching the show. I figured it was some other music user once, like, magic. It was some other magic user once I saw, like, the show unfolding. But I originally thought since Adam has the ability to sometimes, like, with certain weapons that he gets, he can like control people's perspective. I thought it was Adam. Like I thought he came to Earth because he was looking for the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Because what's her bitch sent him out. Because that's what happened at the end of Guardians. She like unleashed him. I thought that was gonna be. I thought that was gonna be Franny just showed me a really funny text. Well, let's just pause real fast.
Yeah, I have to pause for a second. I have to pee so bad.
That's what she showed me.
That's what I showed him on
I
the
look
phone.
down and I just see in bold text, I have to pee now.
I really have to pee. One sec. All right, we're back. Sorry. Anyways, you guys can continue.
I think I was saying I thought it was Adam, but it turns out it was Agatha, obviously.
Yeah, and I was about to say, are they like having him in Eternals? Is that where they're bringing him in? I don't know.
It's a good question. I don't know if they are going to bring him in or not. Adam,
I'm very curious.
The thing
he's been who I've been looking at since Volume 2.
But they do a lot of fakeaways. Like, do you remember that one giant green-headed dude was supposed to come up, but he didn't? The guy from Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton. At the end of the movie, like chemicals got spilled on his head, and he got like that. He turned into that big-headed green guy from Marvel Comics. I can't remember his name, but he was supposed to come in, and he just never did. And I doubt that they will. I mean, that storyline's over 10 years old now. I wonder if they just abandoned the Adam thing. I feel like the Adam thing was almost a fake away, because Adam is a big part of Infinity Gauntlet, and I thought, well, he'd probably be a part of those movies, and then he just wasn't in there. So I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with him.
Low key, I feel like they were like bringing in Captain Marvel to be sort of the, I don't know, just the way.
I like the fact that the chick grown up is now a part of Sword, and like she's reintroducing with her.
Yeah, do they say that in the show to us ever, or
they don't
is that
say
just like
it?
A fan
but
thing?
if you can figure it out based on like how she's
Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, Monica Rambeau is the kid of Captain America, Captain Marvel's ex, you know what I'm saying?
And she's already confirmed to reprise her role in Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah, I know they were building up to
I'm
that.
hyped.
I don't know. Hyped. We'll see. I really like Monica Rambeau. I really do. She's like a being like basically like composed completely of light, and that makes her pretty cool. But at the same time, I'm also like, the first Captain Marvel movie was really tough.
I actually really liked it, so I don't know.
Me too.
I didn't like it that much. It was just, I don't know. Maybe it's Jude Law that was the issue, but like, it really
he was my least favorite part.
I felt like, and here's the thing too, I should like it the most because Kevin Smith is in a sense in that movie, because if you look on the bus when Stan is reading the script for Mallrats, it says written by Kevin Smith. So like, I should love Captain Marvel, but I don't.
I think that's a fun little Easter egg.
Yeah, what they want to do since Stan's gone is they want Kevin to just do a bunch of cameos, and then there's another person who said they should have it just be Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool,
or just have it be
Jay
and Silent Bob.
That they've confirmed. I saw it today.
Mm-hmm, but I don't think they're gonna do it. They said that, but that was we got this covered. All of their quote me now. We got this covered. Your stories are literally always wrong. You guys are always wrong. You guys are infamous for getting the fucking facts wrong. And then I quote you guys, and then like right below the article you wrote is the apology. No, we got this covered is always wrong.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's this like kind of fanfare website that does like announcements early for like Venom 2 confirmed Andrew Garfield, but they're always fucking wrong. They're always wrong. And it makes
I think the one today was literally it's going to be Deadpool putting up missing person posters for Stan Lee, and I was like,
ew, I don't like
I'd be
that.
in.
I don't like that. That feels icky.
Yeah, that seems hard.
I think it should be Jay and Silent Bob, just both of them.
Well, I thought it should be Kevin in the same context that it was Stan, because Kevin is like the new Stan,
Yeah, no, I like that.
He's like a nerd. He's like the head of nerd culture. He's like nerd ambassador.
It's just Alan Tudyk.
I mean, Alan Tudyk would make more sense if he did like projects, but I think like Kevin Smith writes Marvel comics sometimes, and he had a show called Comic Book Men. Known best friend of Stan Lee. Like, I don't know. I mean, there's other people that could do it too. I'm just saying they should have like a cameo like character and everything. How did we get on this? Monica Rambeau. It was Monica Rambeau that got us here.
Oh, a character who I was so hyped to see was Darcy, Kat Dennings, because she was one of my favorite characters from those original Thors, and I was like,
Franny had never seen the original Thor, so she never saw like that character. So she kept asking me all the time if it was made for the show or not. She'd forget that I answered
saw it
her.
was Kat Dennings, and I just sitcom actress.
what?
I mean, sitcom actress.
Oh my god, I love it so much. Fucking shots fired, dude.
I mean, she's not bad at what she does, but that's what she does.
I do not want Kat Dennings to cancel us. I love her, okay?
No, I think she's great. I'm just saying she's a sitcom actress.
I've seen her
she's
boobs
got a very
on the internet.
sitcom-y thing to her.
I saw her boobs on the internet.
Oh my goodness.
She's a very talented actress.
Nice.
But I love Nick and Nora's
her.
Infinite Playlist. That's a good one.
Never seen it.
So since Franny hasn't seen it, it's not good.
I have seen it. I enjoyed it.
All right.
Franny hasn't seen it, so it's not good.
I just love her.
Do you know Jaws just got good because Franny's finally
Yeah, I
seen
just
it?
saw it. It was good.
Now it's good. All the time before it was just a dumb shark movie. Now it's good.
Yeah, it's good now.
All right, what more do we have to say about WandaVision? The thing is, it's such an experience. It's really hard to like talk about individual things. I think the show does really well with like Easter eggs and building up all 3 upcoming movies. You know, it had stuff about the Guardians a little bit. It had stuff about Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, and obviously at the end with the scroll and everything, it had to do with Captain Marvel too. So,
what did they have to do with Guardians?
The Guardians.
Do I just not remember?
The Guardians stuff is like they're talking about. They were talking to what's her face, Kat Dennings, and she mentioned like Jane's like she hasn't talked to Jane or anybody, and that's in reference to.
Oh yeah, I do remember this now.
Yeah, exactly, because there's a old Thor.
Well, that's more
Thor: Love and Thunder,
yeah.
but doesn't Guardians come out before that?
I do not believe so.
Oh, okay. Well, my bad. Sorry, Thor: Love and Thunder. That's my bad. You know, that's being directed by my boy Taika Waititi.
Nice.
Yeah, we love Taika Waititi over here.
I like his Funko Pop.
Do you have Taika Waititi?
I just remember it's one of my favorite ones.
Do you have his? Do you have the Funko Pop of Taika Waititi?
No, I couldn't get it. It was sold out. It was like an exclusive somewhere, but it was like at a Foot Locker exclusive. It was super weird.
Foot Locker exclusive. Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi. Why?
Taika Waititi.
Why?
Fucking Funko Pop.
Why Foot Locker? What is Taika Waititi?
I don't know. That's what everyone
Is it because
was
of the
saying.
shoes in Jojo Rabbit? Because that's dark.
Oof, I hope
I have
not.
no idea.
Have you ever seen Jojo Rabbit, buddy?
I have not. No.
You should watch it. But okay, so we're definitely off track here with WandaVision. I feel like I'm doing all the talking. What else does somebody have to say about WandaVision as a show?
The wardrobe is amazing at every turn.
You've already
The
said
setting.
this.
No, I'm getting into it.
No,
Stop.
she didn't.
I didn't say that. I said her word. I said Wanda's wardrobe is great in the 50s stuff. The wardrobe stays great in the whole show. I love the settings. I love the like wrap up stuff with Wanda where we get to like see that she didn't actually take Vision's body and shit like that. I just thought this was a really good show. It definitely subverted like my expectations, especially since I don't know a lot of like the comic stuff. Like I didn't know who Monica Rambeau is by name, or like who Agatha Harkness is. I still don't know who that is.
I feel like even comic book readers don't know who Agatha Harkness is. That's a deep fucking pull.
I like that they did some like deep stuff and like really.
I'm more just shocked that the Wiccan and Speed were there. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Agreed.
I don't know the comics, but when Logan told me that, I thought that was pretty fucking cool.
Do you think they're gonna call him Wiccan in the MCU, or do you think they're gonna rename him?
I don't know.
That's a
didn't
tough
expect
word
them
for
to do
them
it all,
Christian
like,
audiences.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah, I
Chthon.
really didn't expect
Are they
them
going to
do
call
Salem Witch Trial
Chthon a
stuff,
demon?
so.
Are they going to
Probably
call
not.
Chthon a demon or call him a monster? Like,
They'll probably call him like a bad witch or something.
But he's
Or a beast.
he's literally a demon though.
A chaos like monster.
Chaos control. Baby.
Chaos control.
Well, I don't know because they do say it's magic, so maybe I don't know.
My gosh, those conservatives are going to get real upset if they fucking have Wiccan and a demon on the fucking Marvel movies.
Can't wait.
We have Wiccans. We have demons. It's all inclusive.
Oh my.
Don't tell Mama.
Morbius,
I will not tell Mama, I'll
the
be sure.
living vampire. He's not dead. There you go.
But what Franny was saying, I do agree. They have great costume design. They have great set design.
Great
it really
editing.
feels immersive.
And like the
agreed. I was about to get to that.
Mm-hmm.
All the acting was great at every turn.
I love how they open each episode with a new era. Like the 2010s was super Modern Family, and then the 2000s was Malcolm in the Middle. I really enjoyed that.
And I like that they explained it too with like I liked all the flashback stuff that we got to see through like her and Agatha.
The WandaVision intro
that was good.
With like the missing kids stuff and like the Office theme music was really good. Because it wasn't the Office theme, but it was so close that like you fucking knew what they were doing.
You knew it was The Office. And then, 100%.
But they could do as much Modern Family shit they wanted because Modern Family, correct if I'm wrong, they own that, right? Isn't that owned by ABC?
No.
Is Modern Family ABC?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
They own that.
I think it's ABC.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's why they were able to say the words like Modern Family and stuff, and probably Malcolm in the Middle and shows like that too. I wonder like how much licensing it took or if they owned all these shows, because that's what I kept thinking as like somebody who wants to make things. I'm like, man, that's a lot of licensing. You have to license like all. Like,
they really had to license it. Why would they have to license it? They
Malcolm
just
and
Why would they have to
do too
license
much of the likeness of it, or is it just like?
But to here's the thing: to represent it in your film and not pay anybody. And
they legitimately showed Malcolm in the Middle.
They showed the show. They showed all the shows at one point, and used themes and audio. And I'm just like, it's so cool.
True. They have to.
That Disney's so rich they can be legitimate and not like they could make a whole ass superhero obsessed with Coca-Cola and they can pay for that Coca-Cola. You know what I mean? Like they don't have to change it.
Sounds like I'm joining the MCU.
No, but like what I mean is like they can use the real licenses and really not be afraid because they're just so fucking large,
Agreed.
Like I thought that made it so much more believable because you do hear about like how other countries are like 10 or so years behind us with like TV, just because they're not getting it like we are. They're getting it through like DVDs and shit like that. I thought that was so interesting that like we see her like watching these older shows and they make it believable that she would have an obsession with old TV through the story they told, and they could only have told that story as Disney, showing all those licensings and rights.
I love this show. It's so good.
It's so good. I hope everybody watches it.
Definitely.
Anybody else got anything to say about it?
I think that it's awesome that Agatha All Along hit #1 on the music charts.
That is pretty fucking funny.
It was #1 streamed song. Did you know that, Cody?
I did not.
It was #1. So that one actress has a #1 tracking single for like I think it was like a day or two or something like that.
Good for her. She did great.
And
I was about to say she's the one who I think should have gotten a Golden Globe, but that's not what the Golden Globes thought.
Oh, what is it? Who got a?
I don't know who got it, but it wasn't her.
Damn.
Like that they never appreciate comedy films. That's why they never win.
But if it's they could have given the show best comedy or musical because it is technically a comedy as well. They could have given that to the show. You know what I mean? And or at least I always forget the lady who plays Agatha's name, like Catherine something or other.
I don't know. I can look it up.
But,
Hahn or something
Catherine
like that.
Hahn, yeah, she is legitimately. She carries this show. I mean, she's incredible in it.
Yeah.
She should have gotten recognized.
She's amazing.
And this is like what I think, though, with the way they exited her. Like, if I need you, I'll come back. I think she's coming back. I think
Same.
I think Scarlet Witch and then Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange. They're gonna make the triad. I think they're gonna be like the three like magical beings on Earth, like the three witches or wizards alive. I think they're gonna run the magical world. I think she's gonna come back and have a redemption. Because she was so likable. I feel like a redemption's coming. I do. And especially since her story's not that unlike Scarlet Witch in the sense that she kind of started out bad, but thinking that she was in the right when it was happening.
So, at least on the cast list For WandaVision, they do call him Wiccan.
Oh, so they call him Wiccan in the show. So yeah, he's Wiccan.
But the other kid isn't listed, at least on this.
He would be called Speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they were gonna go with Wiccan, they'll definitely go with Speed. But the whole idea is they're like kind of yeah. So I wonder. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but just the way they ended her, like we're gonna make sure not to kill this character, but we're gonna give her something to like disdain about and change emotionally with. And I think being trapped inside and being forced to do something she doesn't want to do for that long might make her like character arc change a little bit, along with finding some sort of need to do good. And I think she's going to join like a triad of wizards with them.
That'd be dope.
I agree.
How badass would that be if it was just like Doctor Strange's yellow blast, Scarlet Witch's red blast, and then her purple blast, like to open up something?
That looks so
It'd
good.
be fucking so like cinematically amazing.
I'm very excited for the new Doctor Strange. I'm very excited.
It was originally going to be a horror movie. But
I know.
The director, they got cold feet about him, and then they hired Sam Raimi, somebody who directs horror movies, and he's not making a horror movie, so beats me.
I do want to say this show has a very great supportive cast.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're all good, and it's just so well-rounded. They do a lot of good.
The worst scene, in my opinion, though, was from Deborah Jo Rupp, who I love. But she goes, "If you're not going to let us go, just kill us." And to me, it just wasn't very well like given. Like the line reading wasn't good.
I think it's so fun that they brought in her for like a show about sitcoms, you know?
Yeah. I mean, she is like the quintessential sitcom mother alive, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like she's got to be the best living I could think of.
And I just think that's so fun.
I agree.
Such a fun little thing.
But that line reading was horrific. I think that was so atrocious.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to bring it up, because I feel like that isn't a meme yet, and it should be. Just, if you're not going to let us go, just kill us. Like, just like an annoyed teenager. Like, jeez.
Yeah. I mean, it's forgivable because it's Deborah Jo Rupp.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know how much she's been acting lately either.
Yeah.
I don't know like what she's been doing.
Probably I feel like she's only in like little cameo roles.
But this was like cherry picked. Like they wanted her for this.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed.
So I think it's fun. I think that's cute. I do have an Armie Hammer update. I watched The Social Network the other day, and I decided I can't listen to Armie Hammer talk anymore. I couldn't think of a movie I'd seen with him.
I'm 6'5", 220, and there's two of me. I'm gonna pump your blood to your heart myself. I'm gonna eat you.
Like
God,
his voice,
that's scary to admit.
You can definitely hear him saying the things he said, you know? I didn't like it.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Maybe he'll be the demon.
Perfect
I remember
casting.
Because there was two of them. Franny kept freaking out about how there was two, and then she also said the funniest thing, which he goes, something about I'm 6'5", 210 or 220, and there's two of me. She goes, "Ew, he's 6'5". That's so threatening."
That is like, why are you 6'5", sir? That is unacceptable.
Eating people makes you big and strong, I guess.
You licked a person's hand and done way worse.
It's like almost like eating flesh adds to your own.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. I just thought that was so funny.
That's how Elastigirl gets her powers.
Like, do you think Franny can even watch Call Me by Your Name, or will it just be nothing for her? Because how can you like treat him as a main character?
I can't. I literally like every time he come on screen in The Social Network, it literally took me out of the movie.
I'm so sad
disturbed.
I'm so sad you weren't a fan first, because I was a fan, and then that happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I liked Armie Hammer.
Also, he's so normal looking, you know.
But he's a good actor. But that's a part of, like, he's a good actor because
he's crazy.
Actor.
He played the twins well, but
he's crazy. That's why he's a good actor.
He's fucking bananas.
It's like he lives a lie every day. Why would it be any different that that's his profession? He's like, yes, I'm a normal human being.
I hate it. I really hate it.
Mila, shut up. Our dog is
our dog's pissed, so it's
our
probably
dog is
time
pissed.
to wrap it up.
Okay, what would you rate this show out of 10?
I give it a 10 out of 10.
It's gonna be a 10 from me as well. Well, no, actually, it's probably like overall. That's tough because I really, really like it, but it's not like it's like a masterclass to me. I think it's an 8, an 8.5.
I'm gonna say like a 9.4, and it's literally for the exact reason is I love it. It's really great, but it's also like it's not the best thing I've seen Marvel do. So I'm always gonna hold out the 10.
It's just I think I'm like spoiled with a show like Doom Patrol. Like shocker guys, I like Doom Patrol a lot. In case you missed that part, but I feel like this is so like it is creative and like the fact that it's doing a lot of new stuff, but a lot of its treatment is very traditional to Marvel. I think it'd be cool if they had just full on made her a villain. Like I feel like her redemption arc in this is cool and all, but how much better would it be if it was like at the end, like she is just selfish and is still selfish and is looking to still get what she had.
I mean, honestly, they leave it that it could be either.
But that's the point is that they didn't make that dedication. I feel like that was playing it too safe. I feel like if they had made the audience think, actually, she's going to summon fucking Chthon bitches. Like that would have been so much better for me personally, that treatment. And then like let Vision die, please. Like I am excited that he might come back, but quit making me fucking quit hate fucking me with his death every time, making me cry.
Yeah, it's
and
not
then
fair.
he just is still alive again somehow. Cut it out.
It's good. It's really good.
It is good though.
God.
It is good.
So that is all for today, folks. Stay tuned.
Franny, you don't want to say where they can talk to us or end the show?
I guess we do, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
We do usually do that, don't we?
Usually.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. Where's the soundbite? Can I press it? Is it the orange one or the...
Which one are you trying to play? Can I just say, it's so funny. The energy that Franny has is we need to get out of this room. It's on fire right now. And I'm like, that's why if it seemed like I trailed off at the end of this podcast, because Franny's energy right now is let's get out of this room. It's about to explode.
I am hungry.
So is Army Hammer.
Okay. Anyway,
I can't exist.
Franny, where can they find us?
Where can they find you guys?
Which one is the thing?
I think it's this one.
A Pilot Podcast.
That's just the words of pilot.
Okay.
Cody, for a second.
A Pilot.
Cody, I said to shush for. Okay, no, anyway. Where's this one?
Twitter.com/A Pilot Podcast. Instagram.com/A Pilot Podcast. And follow us on all social medias. A Pilot Podcast.
You can also find me and Logan on our other podcast. I'm melting.
Diesel talk.
I don't understand. I don't know what happened, but Franny is on the run. I think somebody's coming to get her. She's dude, she's emptying our bank accounts right now. She's talking and exiting. She's violently entering our e-bank accounts. She's cashing out on the Dave app and shit. We're going somewhere and I don't know where.
I've definitely got Rita energy always. Sorry, guys. It's just who I am.
I love if people didn't listen to us review Doom Patrol. They're like, who the fuck is Rita?
They just heard my brain melting for the past half hour if they only listen to this part. So, Logan and I, we have another podcast where we review movies with two lesbians. Unlike some would think, it's not Logan and three lesbians. It's Logan, his wife, and two lesbians.
In my life. That was just for me and Cody.
And then this podcast has no lesbians on it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. This is the dumbest fucking outro ever recorded. Someday, if we're any good at this, people will be looking back on this. Be like, I used to listen to them when it was their old stuff, and it will just flash to this fucking rambling and weird ass fucking bullshit.
Yeah, this is a mess.
I miss
We're
the
sorry.
older pilot podcast.
Yeah, I miss the older pilot podcast. Can't even carry on a conversation talking about fingers and wives.
Anyways.
Okay, now you have to post that video.
I know. We did another review once, and there was a joke in there that's really funny that we're referencing, but the rest of the review is really trash, so we never put it up. And we still won't. You know what? They don't get to know.
We should someday.
No, I'm putting my foot down right now. They'll never hear it. We're going to sell it
No,
like that
I wanna
Wu-Tang
post it.
album that sold for like $1 million. Only one person gets to listen to it.
Oh God.
If you want it, it's
gosh.
$20. I want $20, $19.99, and 1 penny.
Thanks for listening, folks.
Oh, goodness.
Later, guys.